Welcome to the Monday, March 9th, 2026 special call meeting. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
We have a few amendments tonight under items for individual consideration. We will be removing 4.5 job descriptions to be workshopped at a later date. We will also move 4.7 fiscal year 2025-26 budget amendments. We'll place that under 4.3 and make it 4.3B. We'll also put 4.6 avail to 4.3C. At this point, can we move to adopt the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move to adopt the amended agenda.
We have a motion by Ms. Thompson, second.
I second.
Second by Ms. Knight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. The Sunshine Law requires that the school board meet and perform its duties in public. This meeting in public is an opportunity for the board to discuss and make decisions around the slated agenda. Citizens have the right to observe and hear all comments made by the board members. School board meetings, however, are not a meeting of the public, an opportunity for the public to comment during meetings. On behalf of my fellow board members, at this time I would like to invite and encourage members of the audience to sign up regarding district issues. Please begin by stating your name. You will be limited to 3 minutes. This is your 3 minutes. The clock will not be stopped until your 3 minutes are completed. You may not delegate your 3 minutes to other individuals. You will not be interrupted during your 3 minutes. We will not be acting on the issues tonight unless they are part of the agenda. All statements are directed to the chair. No person may address or question board members individually. Staff members shall not be expected to answer questions from the audience unless called upon by the chair or the superintendent. We are here to listen to you. One last thing. Last Monday night, we had 500 people tuned in to watch our meetings. I have not spoken, of course, to all 500 people, but I've discovered that they could not hear the meeting. So in order to respect the people in the gym, respect those at home, and respect the board members, please hold your applause. And there was a lot of background noise. It might have been technical difficulties, and we may not have been speaking into the mic. So either way, and I understand your enthusiasm. I get that way. Clapping, I want to even jump up and down sometimes. But I want to thank you in advance for that.
Madam Chair, may I say something? That I would like to say to the public, sure to the public. At this meeting, we need to make it very clear tonight that there is no time set for when I speak or any other board member speak during this meeting. I was stopped on the 3-minute time.
Thank you, Ms. Hagan.
Thank you.
Ernest Raines.
My name is Ernest Raines. county chapter of the NAACP. And I just really want to find out from the board what things have been addressed concerning this N-word saying, what has been done about it, has anything at all been addressed concerning it, and if it has not been addressed, I want to know why.
Thank you, Mr. Raines.
Thank you.
Hold for applause, please. Thank you. Alberta Jones.
Good afternoon. Dear members of the school board and district administration, my name is Alberta Jones, and I'm writing to formally report a serious incident involving my daughter Destiny Jones that occurred at the school on February 26, 2026. I'm deeply concerned about the conduct displayed by staff members and the response that followed. According to the information provided to our family, a teacher, Ms. Fletcher, allegedly used a racial offensive slur in reference to students. Such language and behavior are not only deeply troubling, but also represent a clear violation of the professional and ethical standards language in the school environment, undermines the dignity, safety, and the well-being of students, and creates a hostile atmosphere that is incomplete with the mission of education. Additionally, there are concerns regarding how the situation was handled. Once the incident occurred, it has been reported that the school resource officer did not actively disengage or de-escalate the situation. After witnessing the teacher-hostile interaction with the students, this raises further concerns about whether appropriate procedures were followed to protect the students involved. Equally concerned is the lack of communication from the school administrative team. To date, our family has not been contacted by the school leadership to discuss the incident, address the impact on the students involved, or provided any explanation of the steps being taken in response. This lack of outreach has left our family with significant unanswered questions and concerns. The emotional impact on Destiny has been substantial. What should have been one of the most memorable and positive years of an academic experience has instead become a source of distress. As a result of this incident, she no longer feels comfortable participating in any of the senior events such as Grad Bash and the prom. It is heartbreaking to see young students lose trust in educators she once respected, and to witness the emotional toll this experience has taken on her.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes, my name is Mona Kelly. I'm from Valdosta, Georgia. Originally graduated in 1982 from the school. Very proud to be the instructor here at the school. Love my job, love my children. But I did see on the agenda about the internal accounts. I don't know what's going to be discussed or anything. I just wanted to come and let y'all know that our industry certifications that we get is the money that comes to our programs, and by the law it says how to use our funds into our programs, and pretty much that's all I wanted to say. I don't know what's going to be discussed. I just saw it and had concerns about it. And thank y'all, and I appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you.
Items for individual consideration. 4.1, student progression plan, hearing and adoption. Dr. Holmes.
Good afternoon. We are at that phase where it's the board needs to consider requesting that you adopt the student progression plan, which we have previously workshopped. I'm here to answer any additional questions if you may have any.
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Holmes, it has been researched and sent to me from the board meeting where we asked you to do the 2.0 grade average. So it's still in the documents that you're presenting tonight with the 1 point GPA above, 1.5 GPA above, and 1.75 GPA above. We don't see anything where we asked and we voted for the 2 points.
Those corrections were made, then perhaps the incorrect document was submitted, but I did make those changes as
Well, until I
requested.
see it in writing, I can't accept that explanation that you're giving, because this is in writing after you're supposed to have made the corrections. So do you have it that we can see it?
If I can go to my car and get my computer, I can have it to you within a few minutes.
We can call you back up.
Not a problem.
We'll call her back up. Thank you. 4.2, office equipment proposals for building 14. Mr. Ginn.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
What I've presented to you tonight is 2 quotes for office equipment for building 14, which will be converted into ESE offices. This is for cubicles for each one of the inhabitants of the offices. The Birchfield Company was $45,054. The CDF company was $51,973. My recommendation to you would be to go with the lower quote of the $45,054 at this time.
Do we have a motion to approve the office equipment proposal for building 14?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the bid for the
Second.
office.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second by Ms. Hagan. Any discussion?
I do have a question. I just want to verify with Attorney Reeves. Have we confirmed that before we finalize the purchase of this equipment, that we will fall within statute of the use of that building? I don't want to spend this money and then be told, like, hey, that's not the proper use of this facility. So this is a significant financial investment. So I want to make sure that we're spending our money in the best place possible.
Let's let Mr. Reeves discuss that.
So, can y'all hear me? So this was the building that was the subject of the recent lawsuit. The building has there's been recorded a notice of federal interest. We reached out to the federal agency that's in charge of this in Atlanta to get guidance on what we can and cannot do with the building, or the classrooms. We have not gotten any guidance back. The original use of the facility was for ESE, and so the opinion that I had given was I think our safest course of action is to keep using it for ESE. But now that said, I can't give you an absolute guarantee that that's going to be sufficient, but I think that is our safest course of action. Usually with the notice of federal interest, what they do is they expire after a certain amount of time, and expire is not the right word, but if you try to have to repay it back, what you have to repay decreases over time based upon the value of the grant that the federal government gave you. Because the grant was giving you money for capital improvements. So at this time, the only thing I can tell you is I think this is, of your options, I think this is the safest option is to use it for ESE, but I can't give it.
But this will be in offices for ESE, correct?
That's my understanding, but that's a super.
Yes, that is correct. We're going to relocate because we are split between the two schools. We will move everybody into the former Head Start classrooms.
Thank you.
I have one question, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Now, all this money that we're spending on buildings for ESC funding, how much have we spent on the students? I have not seen anywhere where we're spending money on the students. And they generate so much money. And as I was thinking and I was going along, this recommendation for the building, but what we do is fine. But then there's no confidentiality, no privacy in what we're trying to do. Because when you walk in the building, the little cubbies that we're talking about, and you just have a binder or something in between them, anybody who's sitting in the next cubby can hear what's going on with the other person who is in ESC, the other parent, and their conversation. And there's a privacy concern. The walls are too thin. The building is fine, but the walls, what you're talking about, they're just too thin. It's just not gonna sit well. Then when this is grounds for a lawsuit. When a parent walks in the building, the time they walk in the building, you could almost hear with that cubby stuff, because I've experienced in other instances in doctor's offices and stuff, and you can hear this information.
That's a valid point, Ms. Hagan. Mr. Ginn, how far, I haven't been in that building in years. I believe I had been in years past. How far apart can we put these cubbies, let's say? I mean, is there much distance or?
They're pretty much, right, they're like an H pattern. So they're right between each other,
They're
right beside each other.
right there together.
Chair Gibson, if I may respond, our staffing specialists actually share offices now. So when they have meetings, they go to a central location. So we are moving the staffing specialists and the clerical staff
So what those cubbies for?
for their
Who will
office
be making those
space,
cubbies?
for the staffing specialists, because they are built in electricity.
Those staffing specialists do not see students.
No, not the staffing specialists, no ma'am. And
Well, getting back to the layout, in other words, if a parent came in and said, I want privacy, I want to talk to this person privately, would there be a
there
place
is
they
a conference room, yes ma'am.
Ma'am, they're not
Yeah.
supposed to request privacy. They are guaranteed.
All right, well, then they are,
That's the question. They are guaranteed that they don't have to ask for it.
There is a conference room over there, but typically they also go to the front office for a conference room, but there is also a conference room over there.
But as I said, how much money is being spent on the students? Look as though all the budget money, if you look at the budget, all the budget money is being spent on buildings, nothing on material, nothing for the students. That's all I need to say. Thank you, Madam Chair.
okay, we have a motion on the table, Ms. Knight and Ms. Hagan. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Tammy, three, two. Yes. 4.3, engineered cooling service agreement. Mr. Ginn?
Yes, ma'am. These are the service contracts that were in place. These are revised copies of the service contract minus the chillers. The chillers our new chillers come with a 10-year warranty themselves. This is a reduction of the contract that we had. This is covering pumps, cooling towers, hot water heaters. It's pretty much, this is going to be your insurance policy for fixing this kind of stuff. If you're not on a service contract, typically you call for help, they're going to put you on a list and they'll get to you when you can. If you're on a service contract, they do their dead level best to get to you immediately. So this is what this contract will cover.
Okay, we'd like to add a provision, Mr. Reed, would you like to explain that? Yes, Ms. Hoffman.
Sure. If you look to the last page, specifically paragraph 7, it's got how you can cancel contracts, that provides that you can cancel them on 30 days' notice if there's a breach. Normally, with our contracts, we require that either party can cancel on 30 days' notice for any reason. And the idea being you're not stuck in a bad contract if it turns out it's not as good. So my recommendation, I've looked at the contracts, they look fine, but my recommendation would be if you're going to approve them, that you approve them with adding a provision that either party can cancel the contract on 30 days' notice to the other party.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
And I don't see any problem with that happening.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the engineered cooling service agreement?
I move that we approve the engineered cooling services agreement.
We have a motion by Ms. Hagan, second.
I second.
Second by Ms. Knight. Any discussion? With the provision of
With the
30 days notice to be.
as noted as the attorney spoke.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gann.
All those in favor by show of hands?
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
That was for both agreements?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, both agreements, okay. All right. 4.3B, which would be fiscal year 2025-2026 budget amendments. Mr. Copeland? And Mr. Copeland, if you'll speak right into the microphone, please.
Y'all hear me fine?
I can hear you.
All right. Good evening, board. Wanted to review the package you have, the brief presentation on our budget amendments to be considered after we received our third calc here recently. And I will briefly run through those. If y'all have questions, I will stop and answer them. And on page 1 of the presentation, you'll see a historical trend back to 2022 with the overall unweighted FTE to the district. And then to the far left, you'll see the decrease with the third calc versus the second calc, which is about 80 FTE overall to the district. And then I will go through the dollar figures that are correlated with these FTE decreases in a subsequent page. Page 2, these present the unweighted FTE by segment. What's net to the district estimated, what's passed through to the charters, and then what's passed through to the family empowerment scholarships. Again, I gave you a presentation back to 2022 so you could see the trend. But to focus on the second calc, which was our original budgeted numbers, versus the third calc adjustments I'm proposing, you'll see that the top number net reflects the 80 overall FTE decrease that were presented in the first slide. But the big impact from the second calc to the third calc was a 53 FTE increase in the family empowerment scholarships, meaning more money out of our pockets, and we have to account for that with a budget amendment to our revenues. Page 3, this is a high-level overview of the amendments I'm proposing. These are from the Florida Education Funding calculations provided again with the third calc. So I've broken it down, third calc versus second calc. You'll see the change in the major revenue lines to the right. You go down, you will see a prior year adjustment that was not in our first or in the second calc that we originally budgeted. That normally takes the state a while to shore up prior year's FEFP numbers. and we had a hit of $525,677. Next, you'll see the Florida Empowerment Scholarships, where over our original budget with the second count, we have an additional decrease of $493,711. There's some minor adjustments that flow through. They're not significant. You'll see those, but total state sources through the FEFP funding, third count versus second count, show a decrease of around 1.6 million. And I will correlate that to the overall general fund financials in the next page. Page 4, you'll see the top revenues. We do have a positive revenue adjustment that's outside of the FEFP numbers. We have collected Medicaid reimbursements over and above what we budgeted and what we've historically done. I'm proud of the group on that. But next you'll see where the 1.6 million decrease comes in from the state sources. There's no budget amendments being proposed on our regular operating expenditures right now. We're running pretty much in line. We're 3/4 of the way through the year. We're roughly 3/4 of the way with our overall expenses. I don't see a necessary need to monkey with those right now. But there are two line item adjustments below where you see other financing sources and uses. And that's loss recoveries. We have received some insurance proceeds that will be carried as a revenue over and above what we budgeted. So I have made a suggested budget amendment there. And then also on our projected transfers in from our local capital improvement funds, that was budgeted low to start with. I needed to adjust it up some. And, but overall, again, we, just like a lot of the other districts are facing right now, based on what our original budget was versus what the third count numbers came in, we just need to, I would make the recommendation that the board approve these budget amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Do we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025-26 budget amendments? We have a motion by Mr. Carroll. Second?
I second.
Second by Ms. Knight. Any questions, discussion? Basically, Mr. Copeland, our enrollment is decreased. And it's actually been doing that for about the last 20 years.
You're correct.
It's been going down.
I'm sorry.
No,
But again, I did pull it back to 2022. There was a little nip up at one point. But yes, overall, historically within the district, you're seeing an overall trend. And then with the family empowerment scholarships, that's a real variable now that's going to be adjusted. But that's what the funding amounts are that were provided to us with the third count. And again, that was a substantial increase over what was already hitting us with our original budget.
And you said the third calc we were down about 50?
We're about 80 overall.
80 overall.
Yes, ma'am.
53 from family empowerment.
That's correct.
Any other questions? All those in favor, show your hand. Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Avail benefits, Mr. Copeland.
You should have a presentation also on the avail benefits, and I'm going to have to amend our process here just a little bit, and this is a positive amendment. We received notice from the proposed self-insurance consortium fleet, and also the Avail Group, where my intent tonight was to bring an Avail contract for consideration of approval for a contract effectuator to help us get the services that would be necessary over and above what we're doing now to handle a self-insurance program. The fleet folks reached out to me this morning, as did the Avail, and let us know that we could take that off the table, that fleet's willing to step up and handle that process for us, finding a reputable and contract effectuator for no additional cost. So forget that was being brought. But
any questions for Mr. Copeland? Thank you for that information. And the good news, Mr. Copeland.
Yes, and we appreciate.
That's a good piece of news.
Appreciate. We don't mind those last minute adjustments like that.
We asked all those questions at the last meeting.
Pardon?
We
Yeah.
took some of those questions into consideration with funding.
Yeah. But I also provided some operational input to y'all not from Avail, not from Fleet, but from my understanding and my history. And I have dealt with self-insurance. I used to have all my insurance licenses. And I'm not an expert by any means, but I do have a good understanding of it. And I wanted y'all to have in front of you what the pros, what the cons are, and why we're making this recommendation. And subsequently to me sending this, I was able to get our medical loss runs from Blue Cross Blue Shield, meaning what we paid out versus what we paid in premiums. And for 2023-24, we paid roughly 2.1 million in premiums. We paid 1.8 in claims. For 24-25, we paid a little over 2.1 million in premiums. We only paid 860,000 in claims. There's a big disparity between premiums and claims, and that's the gap we're trying to bridge going self-insured. Your medical loss runs should be over 80%, or you're paying too much on your premiums. And so, but I want everyone to understand that there is a lot more hands-on work involved with managing a self-insurance program, but we need to figure out how to get it done with the fleet's help and with a contract effectuator and put it into play. We can mitigate the high-level losses with a stop-loss insurance policy that kicks in if we do have claims that reach a certain amount. I just don't see and Mr. Ted Rouse, you can pipe up if you need to, but I don't see, I think the risk is well the potential reward.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland.
Thank you so much.
No action required for this.
No, I just want to say thank you for the work that you put in. I know you're working a lot of hours, and it's helping guide us in the right direction in this department. So I just want you to know that the work you're putting in and your team is really appreciated.
This was a group effort. I did just a small portion of it. Yeah.
And your team is really appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that it?
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. Let's jump back up to 4.4, Lee and Pinetta Schools. Dr. Pickle?
So as previously presented, I gave recommendations as far as what we could do with our Lee and Pinetta School. Mr. Reeves would have to address the Greenville School. But we discussed and heard a presentation from Key Innovative Solutions Partnership. That will be at a cost of $24,000 a year. I also provided the option of listing the two properties with a commercial realtor And then I also suggested possibly reopening the RFP process. So I've discussed with a couple board members which way you want to go with this. So I do know the board did want to hear from Ms. Karen Hoffman. So you had that opportunity. You have her presentation still. So I need to know what the board's pleasure is as far as our Lee and Pinetta schools and what the board wishes to do now with those two properties.
I move to list it with a commercial realtor. We can always go back to some other options, but at least after listening to Mr. Copeland, I think it's wise to look at this commercially.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Gibson to,
Yes, both properties.
we have a motion by Ms. Gibson to list both the Lee and Pinetta Elementary properties with a commercial realtor. Do we have a second for her motion? Mr. Carroll seconds that motion. Any discussion?
I would just like to know if we're going to put a timeline on this, because again, we also have to take into consideration the amount of time and the investment that goes in listing a commercial property. And, we keep, kind of pushing this away, kicking the can down the road. We're going to end up having to spend money to insure these buildings again. And that is, we already know that's a financial disaster for us. So we need to be thinking about, the expenditures that come with, keeping these buildings on as well. So, we just really need to be realistic in the timeline that we're going to allow the listing to be available, so that we still have time to make decisions if it does not work out.
I agree.
Any other discussion?
I like the other one, but I don't, we're still gonna be paying money. We don't have it. We got people, we just lost $1 million some dollars.
What happened to the other option?
Well, the other option is still on the table. She's just making a recommendation to
Okay.
list.
I like the other option.
Are you speaking about the Key Innovative Solutions? Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, Superintendent, remind us the renewal date for the insurance premium, please?
The renewal date is May 1st.
So, that's just one corner. I don't know that we have time to list it commercially without adding it back to the insurance.
We have a motion and a second to list Lee and Pinetta with a commercial real estate agency. All in favor? Show of hands. All opposed? 4-1. Motion failed.
Madam Chair, if I may, I would like to entertain a motion to continue the contract with Key Innovative Solutions, please.
I second that motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight for the Key Innovation. And we have a second by Ms. Thompson. Any discussion?
So you've got an agreement here, and I think what you're doing is you're moving to approve the agreement. The agreement has a typo though in paragraph 2. It says the term is March 1, 2026 to February 28, 2026. So if you're going to approve it, I think you need to change that February. And I think it's a 12-month agreement based upon the dollar. So if you're going to approve it, please approve it with that second date being changed to February 28, 2027.
Yes. So I will amend my motion to include the date correction in the contract before facilitating.
My second still stands.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second by Ms. Thompson. Any discussion? All those in favor by a show of hands? Opposed? 4.8, personnel changes, Mr. Copeland.
Y'all should have received the personnel changes. There was an update today for one separation, and so if y'all have any questions, it's a pretty slim report for this meeting, but I'll be glad to answer those.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
I think, Madam, that you should read so the general public can hear these personnel changes.
That's understand.
Go ahead.
Okay, so on the personnel changes proposed, we have under the employee resignation, termination, retirement, or leave of absence section, we have Ishan Frazier, teacher position, and that's a resignation effective March 6, 2026. The next item we have for consideration is Miss Ruth Ann Gardner, a teacher, effective date March 23rd, 2026, and this is a separation without going into too much detail. Nothing negative, it's just coming off of some leave, and we need to fill the position.
I have a question, if I may. Oh, sorry.
Do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the personnel changes.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hagan. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm seeing there was a letter sent to Ms. Gardner. Has there been any correspondence back from her regarding that letter?
I did receive some correspondence from Ms. Gardner, and I actually spoke to her at length. So yes, there was.
But we don't know that correspondence. How can we do a good vote on it?
The correspondence, without having it in front of me, the basis of it was, can we hold on a little bit longer and allow her to come back with some special provisions? And
does she have any disabilities?
she is under a workers' comp claim now with the Fizbit group. The board granted her extended family medical leave back in August when it had originally come up. It was granted through January the 5th. So I think we've gone over and above, and that's where we stand right now.
What is she teaching?
Any other questions?
What is she teaching? What was her position?
Miss Hagan, I don't know exactly what her position was. I just don't. I just know she's an instructor.
Chair Gibson, she was in ESC support.
I can't hear you, ma'am. Superintendent.
ESC support.
May I ask, how long has Ms. Gardner been with the district?
If I recall correctly, it's around 8 years.
Any other discussion? By a show of hands, all in favor of personnel changes? Opposed?
We can't stop that resignation, but we can stop the other one.
4.9, contracted services, Mr. Copeland.
I had provided each of you with a summary timeline related to a contract or an agreement or services being provided by Mr. Joe Graham. I don't know if y'all want me to read through the bullet points, but this is...
Since it was discussed in depth, so the general audience needs to hear. It was discussed in depth at the last meeting, remember?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, summarize this. In July of 2023, the district contracted with Mr. Graham as a bus mechanic for the term of July 5th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Under the terms of this agreement, Mr. Graham was to be an independent contractor and not deemed to be an employee of the district. Obviously, that's why it was a contract and not an employment contract. On June 17th, 2024, this contract was renewed under the original terms for an additional period of July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. The contract terms were identical to the original. On April 7, 2025, the district updated the staffing plan to eliminate bus mechanic positions in favor of outsourcing such services due to the financial amount currently outsourced. My bullet doesn't make real good sense there, I apologize. But on April 7, 2025, the district updated the staffing plan to eliminate bus mechanic positions, therefore contracting it out and outsourcing bus mechanic services. Mr. Graham's contract ending June 30th, 2025 was not presented by the Transportation Director for renewal for the 25-26 fiscal year. These services, however, continued past June 30th, 2025 on a month-to-month basis. However, there was no executed contract in place. During the early part of January 2026, district management decided to end bus mechanic services with Mr. Graham. On or about January 28, 2026, Acting Transportation Supervisor Roderick Williams met with Mr. Graham and advised him that the district had decided to discontinue contracted bus mechanic services with him and provided him the opportunity/request to work through the end of the next week. Mr. Graham declined the opportunity request to work through the end of the next week and was paid his final contracted services pay through January the 28th, 2026, with check number 222475 issued on February the 3rd, 2026.
And Mr. Graham said that to that effect, HR has never given him a formal letter that was terminated, that it was just terminated by termination and by word of mouth. And HR, if HR had been effective in doing their job, that's what he's complaining about, and that contract was just extended. He said it wasn't extended to him, given to him from month to month. He thought that the contract had been extended. And he didn't know that it had not been extended until that particular day.
Ms. Hagan, are you done, if I may?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's look at this real quick. On April the 7th, 2025, the district and this board voted to eliminate bus mechanic positions in favor of outsourcing. Mr. Graham was an outsourced mechanic. So who is performing mechanic services for the district? The board, to my knowledge, did not approve to hire a bus mechanic on our staffing plan. We, in fact, did the opposite on April 7th and voted to eliminate a mechanic position and to, in fact, outsource a position, which is what he was doing. So I have quite a few questions regarding that situation.
Madam Chair, the former transportation supervisor did not present his contract. The transportation department has been using Ben's Towing and several other community organizations to departments for outsourcing. Those were all put in place through transportation prior to even me coming on board and being elected.
So we currently do not have any employees that are hired by this district on our payroll that are performing mechanic duties.
No, ma'am.
When?
Ms. Thompson, we do not have a mechanic.
I'm not talking about on paper in writing. I'm talking about mechanic services being performed by any of our employees.
We do have one individual that is capable of performing inspections, and based on our DOE corrective action plan, has completed all the inspections because they were not completed by our former transportation supervisor. So we are at least good for 90 days. But we have to get all of this done, which is what's fixing to come up under transportation, under 4.11, because I now have a corrective action plan that I have to complete.
Do we not see here, again, let me outline this. On April 7th, 2025, the district and this board voted to do away with and eliminate a mechanic position and to outsource.
So no mechanical duties should be performed on district property.
Mr. Graham was outsourced.
Was there a reason why Mr. Graham was not told about his contract?
And it's that the kind of way that we do business, that word of mouth.
Ms. Hagan, I was asking, yes. Why wasn't he aware that his contract wasn't clear?
Once, as it states, once our auditor brought it to the attention of Mr. Copeland, that's when Mr. Copeland had the conversation with Mr. Williams to have the conversation with him. That is not an HR function. He is not an employee. He is a contractor. That's the reason HR would not notify him, because he is not an employee.
My question,
Contract. We have a contract.
well, his contract had expired per,
Ms. Thompson, go ahead.
my question is though, based on the way this board voted in April of 2025, as Ms. Gibson asked, why was Mr. Graham not informed that his contract had expired and asked if he wanted to renew a contract? This board voted to outsource our mechanic position, not to have Ben's Towing or whoever else do it. Mr. Graham had been doing that position.
Ms. Thompson, I would have to go back and ask the former transportation supervisor, because that would come from him, not from me.
So when did Mr. Roy get in HR that he could do, is he with HR or with safety? Was he in that position?
Ms. Hagan, I have overseen HR. And again, I understand, I concur with you completely. I'm begging for some help here and there, so I'm with you. When I terminated folks, or when I was involved, and this was not a termination, nothing negative at all, but it was always handled by the direct supervisor with HR's direction. It's not a function that HR is the one that's going to sit down there and promote the person or demote a person. I don't feel that that was a misstep. Perhaps knowing that the contract had expired, yeah, we missed it.
And the auditors called it.
Yeah, you're correct, and I'm disappointed in that.
So that's something wrong with us.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
I think the biggest thing here is the level of incompetence that we are showing by having somebody on our property completing services without a signed contract. We have a duty and a responsibility to the safety of our students to make sure that every person that is employed or contracted by this district has been vetted and under a signed contract. You know, like, we are like a boat that is barely staying afloat with all of these holes in it. You know, like, we have to be better for the safety and for the betterment of our students. This is embarrassing.
Excuse me. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ms. Knight. Go ahead.
We have to do better. And this doesn't, please do not take this as a reflection of you and your duties. You are one person with a small team tasked with too many duties. And so that is our goal, to make sure, for us to be able to do what we need to do for the betterment of this district moving forward, that we put the right tools in place to make us successful.
I concur, and I hate that we missed the contract, but I can't unring that bell. I can, put the processes in play going forward so we don't miss another, and it's happened over the years.
Yes, sir.
It's not right, and but I respectfully hear what y'all are saying.
And we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for the information, Mr. Copeland. 4.10, internal accounts, Mr. Copeland.
I had, and again, apologies for throwing this simple PowerPoint on y'all at the last minute, but I simply did not have it pulled together sooner. On the internal accounts, this is an area I take responsibility for as CFO, but I've delegated out a lot of the processes due to that being necessary to manage any organization. Just wanted to give y'all a high-level summary and try to answer questions that you may have, specific questions, or find the answers for you. But on this presentation, if you go to page 2, this will give you a highlight of what issues have been brought to us related to the Madison County High School internal accounts from our independent auditor. And what I did want to share with each of you, or with the group, is, again, is a historical summary of the Madison County High School overall internal fund balances from 2022 to 2026. For the fiscal year audit on 2025, the internal funds total $201,080. That is one bank account, and that is split up amongst, there's 43 separate funds that have designations out of that total. And if you go to, so there's, if you see a report where you have a fund balance that's in the negative, that can happen during the year. It needs to be shored up at year end, and in 2025 there was no deficient fund balances. But sometimes stuff's going to get upside down. A group's got to have something, they got to order it. That does not mean our bank account's upside down. That means that individual fund needs to pay back that money to the overall group and move forward. Fiscal year audit findings is the second section halfway through page 2. You'll see 2025, 24, and 23. These were some of the same findings that would pop up periodically when I was here back in 2017 through 19. Yes, we can do a better job with the internal funds, but I don't think we can run our business and be perfect with it either. I think at times we've got to be able to, somebody's got to be able to get something when they need it, if it's within a certain parameter, and maybe it goes around the PO process, but...
what does policy say? Come on.
Policy?
Yes, what does policy say?
The policy does say that the procurement procedures should reflect what our district procedures are, and that would be ideally work through the purchase orders and go that route. So,
Mr. Copeland, under that 2025 number 2,
yes,
school
sir.
made transfers between internal funds without support. Now, what does that mean? It's from one fund to another? Is that typical? Is that...
It can, no, I wouldn't say it's typical, but it can be done, and it's been done in the past, especially from football, when they would have more money, and they may agree to transfer some to the weightlifting or some other program. So, but just ad hoc transfers with no backup or no approval from the designee or the group that manages that fund should not be done. That's why you're seeing an audit finding.
And I have here now policies. School expenditures from internal funds shall not exceed the cash balance of resources of that school during any fiscal year without written approval of the superintendent or board. And it wasn't approved by the superintendent or board, and it also funds can be transferred to other accounts by agreement by the organizations. And do we have any proof of that? Loans can be made. But where's the proof? That's the request.
That's what you don't have with that audit finding, Ms. Hagan. You're correct.
That's what I'm calling the attention to. And we have this from the Madison County District Schools, what the high school principal was addressing, and she got that snorkeling reply from the superintendent. The superintendent didn't answer in a positive way. She just stated that the boosters, something about the boosters, replying that's their account. But then the money's in the high school. In high school, those people are in charge of the accounts. Now we can transfer it to the boosters, and we've done it before. It has been like that before. So, and then the principal's name was taken off the account without discussion with the principal by the superintendent. And it was given to someone who's been here less than a year in that position. So that's all I'm not understanding. Madam Superintendent, that question is directed to you. I'm not understanding that.
Dr. Pickles?
Madam Chair, so there were several communications with the principal, who has also been here less than a year. And it was very clear that she made it, that she did not want to be responsible for any audit findings.
Exactly.
May I finish, please? Each time she would send me an email, I would go to finance and the finance team and the accounts payable team and ask them to. Ms. Hagan, if I may finish. Each time she would email me, I would go to the finance staff, the accounts payable team, and Ms. Fletcher and Mr. Copeland, and they would meet with her. They met with her on several occasions. We discussed what could be spent, how they could be purchased, their items they wanted to purchase. I know Ms. Mona had issues even trying to purchase items just for class, and she was told she had to submit a purchase order. And I know there was some concern that if she had to have something for class right then, she didn't have time to submit a purchase order. She just needed to wait to be reimbursed. I know that's been a sore subject for our football program. After multiple meetings, in fact, the last meeting, everything I understood, even the finance team understood everything was fine. However, Dr. Cunningham told the bookkeeper to call the football vendors and not to accept anything except unless they had a purchase order. She did not do the same for basketball, baseball, softball, or anything. It's only for football. So she was clearly targeting the football program.
Football have negative
May
accounts.
I finish, Ms. Hagan?
Yes, ma'am, and don't you holler at me, because I can holler at you just as well.
May I
Excuse me, slow down, just as well, Madam Superintendent. And what does policy say?
All along, Dr. Cunningham was very concerned. She did not want to be responsible for any public funding. The clearest way to do that was to remove her from the account, so she was not going to be responsible for any audit findings that way. The Red Book clearly states the programs are to sit here, and each organization or student club is responsible for establishing its own policies and procedures on purchasing, authorization, and procurement processes, and is encouraged to adopt school district purchasing policies and best practices. So the school internal accounts and those programs are who is responsible. Not even the superintendent, not the CFO, not the accounts payable, but those school programs are entitled to that. There are statutes, just like Ms. Kelly stood up and said. She is responsible. That money comes back statutorily to her program. Same thing with our health science program. There's a large amount of money in that program. That money stays in there only if the program says that she is willing, or they are willing to share that money with another internal account. Can it be transferred? So I know that our athletic director has in the past moved money. So yes, it does have to be documented. So if Dr. Cunningham does not want to be responsible, the easiest thing to do is remove her off the account. And I know in the past, in speaking with former principals, they were not the ones who signed. They had an AP sign. Now, Ms. Hagan, you may ask any
Madam
additional
Superintendent,
questions.
what does policy read? And you get to change the policy as you want to without notifying the board. Policies that has been voted on the board, and you get to change them and give a long explanation. But we had an audit finding. And that explanation you're giving is not making sense, because you cannot change policy alone by yourself.
I have a question, if I may.
Ms. Thompson?
I've seen the email correspondence. It was sent to the board from Dr. Cunningham. The question that I have, though, is, and this is just common respect, did you have a conversation with Dr. Cunningham, whether it be an email or in person, to explain her concerns? She stated that she had concerns about being responsible for audit findings. Or did you just remove her without any conversation and take responsibility from her and then place it on another employee? It's just common courtesy.
I had a conversation,
Dr. Pickles?
when she was telling me about her policies that she was putting in place, she shared her concerns then about having the audit findings. We discussed it then.
So when the decision was made to remove her is what I'm asking about. When you made that decision, did you sit down, or even in writing? I know that it was stated that she was removed and you put Mr. Brown on there, and no offense to Mr. Brown, he's a wonderful employee, but you're taking responsibility from Dr. Cunningham and putting it on Mr. Brown.
It's illegal.
No comments from the audience, please. Any other comments?
If I may, Dr. Cunningham, would you mind coming up to the podium and answering some questions? Thank you so much for being here. And when this transpired, did Dr. Pickles have a conversation with you regarding removing you from the account?
She did not.
I have no further questions.
I do not have questions of Dr. Cunningham. I've actually worked very closely with her, and although the processes could be a hindrance at time, We worked through why she was doing what she was doing for accountability purposes. So we did our best to accommodate. There were always extenuating circumstances that, you know, we still needed to be able to figure out. It was a learning curve, you know, with having somebody who really wanted accountability in place. You know, my thing is, it's the lack of respect for our leadership, and it's not just with the internal accounts fund, it's across the board. We are undermining the authority that we have given them to be able to operate their schools.
That's right.
We chose them as leaders for a reason, and we are not allowing them to lead. We are micromanaging our leaders at this point, and that is the frustrating part for me. One of the things that was discussed, you know, even as far as the responsibility part of things, to take the audit findings off of the principal and the district as a whole, was to separate those accounts to each booster's 501c3, which was agreed upon by the majority, and we could never get approval to be able to do that. And so that is also something that the board needs to know as a recommendation, that to avoid this moving forward, you know, we could just have each booster have their own account and be responsible for their stuff. You know, does it make it easier for us to have it here at the school? Yes. But we have to find that balance in accountability and being good stewards of the fund, and not hindering our students from having access to the supplies and the materials that they need in the moment. And those conversations were not had.
Any other comments from the board members? Dr.
Cunningham would like to say, Dr. Cunningham.
Well, excuse me.
You asked me if there's any more questions as a board member.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question or a statement?
Either one.
Oh.
Doesn't matter.
Well,
Dr. Cunningham, at the last board meeting, we asked that you be put on to speak, placed on the agenda to speak, and you had agreed, the board had agreed that you be placed. Do you have anything that you want to say?
The only thing I wanted to say is that I was trying to put fiscal practices into place that were not in place. What Mr. Copeland did not discuss was the status of the accounts in detail, and I won't go into detail, but the fiscal practices that I was trying to put in place was to get us out of the red. And because it may have made a few of my staff members disgruntled, I explained to the superintendent that I was not concerned with complaints, I was concerned with compliance. And that it had nothing to do with me not wanting to deal with audits, but it was me having my name on those checks, me signing that off, and I had a problem with some of the fiscal practices that were not legal. And that's all I want to say. And the letter was written to make sure the board knew that I was removed and I will not be held legally responsible for anything moving forward.
Excuse me, let Dr. Cunningham speak. Go ahead.
So the letter was the notification to the board, just letting the board know that I had been removed and that anything moving forward, I would not be held legally responsible for. And that was the gist of that notification.
Thank you, Dr. Cunningham. Any other questions? We appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
Dr. Pickles?
Lastly, Rule 6A-1.001 pertains to the district financial records in Florida. It mandates that the superintendent of schools in each school district maintain adequate records and accounts of all financial transactions. So that therefore also pertains that I have to have the oversight.
Thank you, Dr. Pickles. Let's move on to 4.11, transportation. Dr. Pickles?
I would like to ask the board to give and direct in discussion, we will be without a transportation supervisor for at least a couple more months. I would like, he and I to discuss this, would like to discuss drafting a contract to contract out. We've had 2 individuals reach out to us about offering their services. So I would like to enter into an agreement with at least one of these 2 individuals for at least a 90-day period until we can get through a DOA hearing. And because we cannot hire somebody, but at least it would provide some stability in our transportation department.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Superintendent, who are these people? You said you've had 2 people reach out to you. Who are these people who have reached out to you?
They have not actually reached out. Well, one did reach out to me. Let Dr. Pickles speak. One actually reached out to me through board member Katie Knight. It's Mr. Brody Herring, and then one reached out to Walter Copeland, Mr. Don.
Who are these people?
Don Hassan, he provides the school bus training down at the college.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, if I may. So I just want to clarify, I know since all of this has been going on, you have mentioned a couple of times that you were going to be partnering with Suwannee County, that they were going to come in and help, get things straightened up and cleaned up and look at routes and things like that. Has that happened? Because, the transportation department right now it's a dumpster fire. It really is. It is a mess.
They are currently working on our routes, yes.
And we do need someone to be in charge. We had an issue today, and I contacted you because I didn't know who else to contact. So we need someone down there.
We have to do something. Whether if we need Mr. Ansley to get his DOA hearing so that he can get his fair shake at, his defense. And at the end of the day, our transportation department is in distress. Our students are suffering. The buses are a disaster. The parents do not feel safe with their students on there. Our employees are very confused. They don't know who's coming or going. They don't know who to report to. I do want to clarify at the request of some of our bus drivers that they weren't voluntarily choosing not to come to work the last couple of weeks that we've had issues, that they all had scheduled trips planned that were not accounted for because of us not having a transportation director. The amount of phone calls and text messages that I am getting as far as safety concerns for our students on the bus is far exceeding what we should experience in a year, let alone in this last 2 weeks. So we have to put something in place, effective immediately, for the safety and the well-being of our employees and our students.
Do we have a motion for Mr. Reeves to draft a contract for a short-term transportation director?
Do I have to always ask to speak, Madam Chair, when everybody else can speak about the commission?
Go ahead.
Right.
The incident that happened on the bus last week, it was my understanding that it was a 2-bus route, and 3 children were placed on each seat. And those 3 children that were placed on each seat, not barely enough room for 2 students, and it was 3. And all that confusion and fighting and fussing that went on was a direct result of those 3 students on that bus to 1 seat.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, if I may, I would move to advise Attorney Reeves to move forward with a temporary contract for somebody to outsource our transportation director's position.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second.
Second.
Second by who was it? Mr. Carroll. By a show of hands, all in favor?
One more thing, Madam Chair. And should we favor someone from out of the district who doesn't know anything about the district landscape at all, or should we favor someone who lives here in this district and knows about the landscape as an area of expertise that he would perform for the county and knowledge of the county?
That's something to think about for sure.
Thank you.
4.12, RFP for Human Resources, Dr. Pickles and Attorney Reeves.
So at the last meeting, the board had discussed doing an RFP for HR services. There wasn't a lot of specifics other than that. So what I did was, this is what's included in the packet, is what I consider a good first draft. So you all can look at it and tell me if this is what you're looking for. We've got a lot of services, potential services attached to this exhibit A. You all may not want all those services to be part of this RFP, but I wanted you to have, see everything that could be part of it. Are interested in moving forward, I think we've got a couple of different options. You could decide that you want to change this RFP, tell me how you want to change it. You can do a workshop, try to do some parameters on what you want to do, and then tell me after that, or I guess there are other options too. But that's kind of, I wanted to give you something to start with, and that's why I went ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. I personally would like to do a workshop on that.
I would as well.
I agree, workshop.
Okay, so workshop that along with our other items. Thank you. 4.13, personnel investigation, Dr. Pickles.
This was asked to be placed on the agenda. You also have received the Peterson investigation.
So we would like to hear from you the personnel investigation recommendations. You're down there to speak on that.
Mr. Peterson has been reprimanded, and it has been turned over to professional practices.
So what is the status now with the board?
Attorney Reeves has advised you.
Yes. Would you mind going over that, Mr. Reeves is going to explain.
Is he back in the classroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Mr. Reeves is going to explain the process of termination.
So, Madam Chair,
About that, I am in the classroom, is he in the classroom?
Is he?
I didn't ask about termination.
Dr. Pickles?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, he is in the classroom.
So what you're saying is, during that particular time, which we didn't know anything about, he was taken out of the classroom for 3 days and placed at the county office. So he was placed, am I correct so far, Madam Superintendent?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so he was placed at the county office, and that's the main office where everybody comes in. You don't think that you place his life in a little bit danger by bringing him to the county office?
That has been our past practice when we have employees under investigation.
Past practice doesn't justify danger, doesn't justify, because past practices, and I thought you were the superintendent, that you make all these decisions and you can stand down. Certain ones you make to stand down, but now you want to go by past practice.
Any further?
No, I just, Madam Chair, if I may, I would just like to point out, I did a little research, just out of curiosity. And this is just to reiterate, my suggestion of looking at additional HR services. And unfortunately, I am sad to report that this is not an uncommon incident across the state, unfortunately. I found way more examples of this type of behavior than I cared to find. However, the consistent feedback for the majority of these incidences were that almost every one of these, the teacher was suspended without pay. Again, I understand that every school district operates under different policies and procedures and guidance. I think, again, where we fall short and we miss the mark is lack of communication. I'm tired of saying it. I say it every meeting, and we do not communicate effectively. We are not wholeheartedly transparent like we should be, and we are not consistent across the board. And I as a board member can say it every meeting and until I'm blue in the face, but, you know, all I can do is apologize to you all that we are failing your students right now.
If I may, Ms. Knight brought it out, but I would like to piggyback off that. We're talking about past practices, and we currently have an employee under investigation who I opposed voting to suspend without pay. He was never placed in the district office. So we again have to talk.
Excuse me.
We have to be fair and consistent. And we are showing that we are not fair and consistent with all employees. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. All right, getting back to Mr. Reed.
One more thing, Madam Chair. And
Yeah.
we're showing our students that we do not care about them. When a teacher in the classroom escalates, hey, that teacher doesn't care. When that teacher says it's his right to say whatever he wants to, and when a child repeats something and asks a question, be the adult. You know you're the adult who teaches. Why are you escalating that conversation? And then from a previous administrator, knowing that administrator is not here to give you permission, that your present administrator would not give it to you, and you know that. Then that person had no shame when he went before the parents. Didn't care about the students, didn't care about the parents. You doubled down on what he said. Then at the end, an investigator, it's the ER word, the NAR word. But what I want to know is, these people who are doing the investigation, what kind of training have they had to do an investigation? Because it's not so well. Are these people capable and fairly had workshops, training, or anything with the investigation? That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Reeves?
Yes, ma'am. The two employees in question were instructional employees. They're on annual contract. Under Florida law, during the term of the annual contract, they can only be dismissed or suspended. The school board would do that, but the school board can only do that on the recommendation of the superintendent. Presently, there's no recommendation for either of those, so there's no action that the school board can take. At the end of, since it is an annual contract, they will both have to be recommended at the end of the school year for the next school year. At that point, the school board would have to decide whether there was good cause to reject the nomination of both of the individuals.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Madam Chair, has anybody on the board heard about the second investigation? I've not heard a thing about the second investigation.
No, ma'am.
We have people referring to Ms. Fletcher.
Are you referring to Ms. Fletcher's?
Yes, ma'am.
That one's not complete yet. I'm still waiting on another statement.
Excuse me, we cannot hear.
Not asking if it was completed, I'm saying we heard nothing about it. We do know about it because it was talked about, but from you, we've heard nothing about it. We've not even heard that there is an investigation. We've not heard that she's been placed on leave or anything that has that sort. I've not heard anything.
It's an open investigation. Once it's completed, then we'll hear from you.
So is that the way you did with Mr. Hanson?
Same way.
Madam Chair, if I may, this just goes back to, again, communication and respect. You do not exhibit respect for your board members. You do not exhibit respect for your leaders. You are not exhibiting respect for your parents and our students.
Ms. Knight, let me say something. No one heard what you just said. The people at home cannot hear that.
For the online audience, my statement was, Madam Chair, we are exhibiting a lack of respect from our superintendent to us as board members, to our administrators and our leaders, to our employees and to our students with the lack of communication that we are exhibiting. I would also like to point out that we were asked about relocating the board meeting to this gym tonight. Superintendent, did you notify us that you relocated the meeting?
Thank you, Ms. Knight. All right.
Gotta go.
We need to go back to the 4.1.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. 4.1, student progression plan, hearing and adoption. I jumped.
Is she in the class? Is she still in the class?
We gotta go.
Excuse me, this is not a meeting of the public. I'm sorry.
Miss Hagan, what's the status, baby? Where the teacher at? Can you ask?
Yes, ma'am. What's the status of the teacher?
Is they at the school board?
After being.
Are they at the school board?
After being in the school board office.
We can't hear you.
Yes, can't talk up.
After being in the district office for several days, she is now on administrative leave.
Excuse me, the board, you are not at the meeting of the,
With pay Madam Superintendent. See, we don't know any of this. It's a little private conversation with you and not the board. If she was paid, you make these decisions. We didn't even know she was at the county office, and now she's on administrative leave. We didn't know any of that.
Should be through Wednesday. Which is the reason I'm pushing to get this report done tomorrow.
we should have the investigation report.
I should be able to tell you what my recommendation is tomorrow. And then she has 10 days to provide a response.
Thank you. Dr. Holmes?
Yes, I did also email each board member a copy. It should be in your email of the document, as well as I had a copy printed to demonstrate that I did make the corrections that were previously requested. I do apologize for the wrong version of the document being updated, but as you can see, I did make the corrections that were requested.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair, if I may, I move to accept the student progression plan.
Second.
We'll stop right now for a collective public contribute if they'd like to talk about the student progression plan. This is a hearing. This is a hearing. This is, if you'd like to come up to the podium and discuss the student progression plan, you're welcome to do it. Ms. Hubbard?
Gwen Hubbard, teacher at Madison County High School. I would like to ask, I believe at the meeting that the board approved the 2.0, I think you indicated that you wanted this to begin this year. My concern, working with students, is that we're changing the rules, and school is almost out. I would like to see the 2.0 be effective beginning next school year.
Thanks, ma'am. I thought about that. We're changing in the middle spring. And we have what? March, half of March, April, May. And we just can't put that burden on this present school year. So I make the motion that I move that we implement these changes for the 26th, 27th.
We're still in a hearing right now.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Does anyone else want to address the student progression plan? The hearing is still going on. All right, the hearing is over right now. Go ahead, Ms. Hagan.
I would move to discuss it, however, that we make these changes for the beginning of the 26th, 27th school year. We're in the middle of, in fact, we're not in the middle, we're at the end of the school year. So those old ones stand, but the new ones be implemented in that time frame. board members.
I agree.
I
We have a second.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Hagan, second by Ms. Knight. Any discussion?
I don't know if any of our kindergarten teachers are out here and want to speak, because I did hear some concerns from some of them, and I don't want to put them on the spot, but I would like to, if you have any concerns, please invite you to come up and speak about them.
Right, ma'am?
I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
I just had a question about.
Name?
Oh, sorry, my name is Natasha Anderson. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Madison County Central.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Trissa Provo, kindergarten, Madison County Central.
Speaking into the mic, please.
Trissa Provo, Madison County Central Kindergarten. So I just had a question about the progression plan as far as the STAR score. So for the STAR score, will the level 2 promote our kindergarten students? Because personally, I disagree with it because A, we say that a level 3 is passing, and B, some of my students who know nothing can score a level 2. 2, instead of totally alleviating the sight words, why don't we adopt the UFLI words so that there is still a requirement versus eliminating it altogether? Because we're we're lowering the standards for kindergarten, in essence, because of the simple fact that we're requiring them to basically almost read before they leave us. But then we're saying, oh, well, you don't need to know these words that are important for the first grade.
But nothing leads to the next year. We're asking you to continue to do your job.
Oh, yes.
And so if you continue to do your job, they would learn to read.
I think what she's saying is, though, based on the progression plan that's being proposed, it has a STAR score of a level 2 as promoting them, and it is removing the requirement for them to have the sight words as a promotion requirement. It's not on what they're doing or their requirements as teachers, it's the requirements that the students have are being lessened for them to promote to first grade. Am I correct in saying that?
So you're in favor of the sight words, that's what you're saying?
If not the sight words, the UFLI
words. Okay.
It was my understanding we were utilizing UFLI.
But that's not a requirement for them based on the progression plan to promote to first grade.
And if you at the bottom of the tier, so since we're starting at the bottom of the tier, and these students, not that you don't teach the sight words, maybe they might not know one or two, but we're starting at the bottom, so by the time they reach 12th grade, we've done what we're supposed to do.
Dr. Holmes, if you may.
If I can clarify, the sight word requirement is one of the 15 standards that are required for promotion for kindergarten. If you read the student progression plan, it states that the student may promote with, if I'm correct, 12 out of the 15 standards. So, what the problem that I saw and I identified, and after having some conversation with the teachers as well as the administration at Madison Central, there were a significant number of kindergartners who were being remained because that was the one requirement that they did not meet. So therefore, that was the sight words are still included as part of the standards that they still have to master. However, if a child masters 12 of the 15 standards, yet they don't master the sight word standard, you're still allowing that student to be promoted. As well as the STAR score, there are now multiple means of promoting the student. So the student may not do well on sight words, but for whatever reason, we know some students test well. They may score the score on the STAR assessment, which would then give them another opportunity to be promoted. And if the students are promoted, again, as best practice, any student who has a deficiency, who has a standard that is not mastered, when that student is then promoted to first grade, they will immediately begin the process in the MTSS process at the beginning of the year with those interventions in place to mitigate that gap from the prior year so that by the end of the following year, they will be on grade level. that is the intent of what is written in the student progression plan, and I hope that clarifies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your concerns. So she has explained that. And you're understanding what she's explained? Thank you.
All right, our hearing is closed. Do we have a motion to approve the student progression plan?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the student progression plan.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, second by Ms. Hagan. All those in favor, raise your hand.
For the GPA change effective next year.
Just for 26, 27 school year.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Other items of interest, superintendent items?
I've been working with, talking with Department of Education and FADS. I've been working and have identified one partner to provide mandatory ethics training for all district staff. We've identified a date, and email will go out first thing in the morning. We're also talking to a partner as far as providing some other impactful training for our students. To have those conversations, we're going to try to break it up of pre-K to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and then our high school grade levels, so that we can have the discussions, and then students will be able to have the positive interactions and also talk about the current events that are currently happening. So that's what we're working on at the moment, and in constant communication, trying to identify partners. So we do at least have a partner for our ethics training, mandatory ethics training. That will also satisfy an audit finding that we've had, because our current ethics training is not long enough. So we will have an in-person ethics training moving forward in the future. That's all I saw.
Let me ask you something, Dr. Pickles. Will this be provided in each school?
We will do it district-wide at one school.
Okay, what if they're not there that day?
Is there multiple opportunities?
We will record it and then put it in our vector so we can, for those. But I did pick a day, there's no sports events or anything, so there should be ample opportunity for everybody to be there, unless they are out sick that day.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Reeves? Ms. Knight?
Now, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight, and please continue to keep our district in your prayers. And I just want to, again, encourage everybody to keep our words, our actions, student-focused, so that we can drive this district to a better place. Thank you.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Ms.
Hold on a minute, please. I have friends, great guys, asking all the trips on the call. But the issue is, all that other stuff that y'all talking about, the issue is that if we don't solve this problem with this racial thing, all this other stuff ain't gonna matter.
Let's
Just
sir.
give me a minute, that's all I ask you.
Excuse me, you're not on the mic yet. You're not up at the mic.
Well, can I get the mic, please?
Yeah.
We'll talk about everything else. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about.
We'll let you have comments at the end of the meeting, okay?
We have another comment section.
Yeah, we have another time. Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Knight. Ms. Hagan?
I would like to recognize Dr. Jerry Alexander in the audience, Mr. Alexander, if they don't know you, please stand and speak with who you're with. We did receive that letter from Dr. Alexander in ministers. Can he explain who he is and
Good afternoon. I'm Reverend Dr. Jerry Alexander, the pastor of Mount Nebo AME Church. And myself, along with a host of pastors, are very concerned about what we're hearing, and I trust that you did receive the letter.
I did.
okay? Without taking up too much time, I just want to reiterate some things that was in the letter. We all know we have been created by God in the image of God. I don't need to go back and restate some of the things that has already been stated, but let me go to this part of the letter that's very concerning to myself, my congregation, and other pastors. And just let me say their names before I go to that. Reverend Oliver Bradley, Reverend Reggie Daniels, Reverend Joe Rowe, Reverend George Williams, and there are some others. But let me go to this part here. As faith leaders, we respectfully but firmly call for accountability and swift transparency. I'm talking directly to the superintendent. Action be taken to ensure that our schools are safe. And in the letter, Mr. Superintendent, we urge you to lead decisively and compassionately from the top down, not from the bottom up. It appears that there are a very serious concern of no confidence. And then when that happens in an organization, our children suffer. The question is, Ms. Superintendent, who's in charge? Who is leading? As a faith leader, I am very concerned. I have waited patiently. I have waited quietly. We have. And we see no confidence. None whatsoever. Let me conclude for now, but you will be hearing from us in a later date. We will continue to push up prayers to the students that were affected, because in the classroom there is no place for words like that. There's no excuse for actions such as that. If we, the people, don't stand firmly and decisively and speak in one voice, then we have lost democracy. So we pray for you, Ms. Superintendent. We pray for the esteemed board members, and we are watching, but we will not be silent. May God bless you.
I'm finished, thank you for the time.
Oh, okay. Mr. Carroll?
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming and supporting their kids. Thank you for coming on. I'm always, I don't speak a lot of words, but I try to look to the Lord for guidance on everything. So that's basically me in a nutshell. But I do appreciate y'all coming out. All of you.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Ms. Thompson?
I would like to say thank you for the community members that showed up tonight and those who are watching online or may watch later. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and my heart is so burdened for our community because I know that there are so many people who care deeply about our children, and they are the ones that are suffering the most in this situation. I've been reading a book lately, and I started it over a year ago, and I put it down, and I've recently picked it back up. It's by Simon Sinek, and it's called Leaders Eat Last. And one of my favorite quotes from that book is this: leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. We are all charged to take care of the students of this district. And I pray that if there is anything and anybody in this room that does not have that in their heart, that they will not continue in the position that they're in. It is within all of us. It is in our charge to take care of our students.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. I appreciate you getting an ethics training together, but I think we're actually going to need more than that.
We did.
We need to have someone. It's been done in different counties where they've got maybe a union attorney. Explain the do's and the don'ts in the classroom, because obviously some people do not know the do's and the don'ts, and they need to be told them. And maybe training for students as well. I'm all for that. I want to thank everyone that came tonight. We appreciate you. I understand your enthusiasm. Like I said, I'm right there with you, and thank you very much. Do we have a motion to?
You got two. NAACP has a statement.
Not forget that. If you'll state your name, please.
My name is Leroy Jackson. And I come to say to Ms. Pickles, the Lord is in charge of everything, no matter what you say out your mouth. He gonna move this mountain, and he gonna move it with force. I ask you to open your heart up. How do you allow my children to come to school and scared they're gonna be called some kind of name? And then the next thing gonna happen is the children coming to school to disrespect the teacher. Then we ain't got nothing going on. All this here money and everything y'all talking about spend, that's all. And we not concerned about that right now. We concerned about our children. I didn't come here 72 years to live in Madison, Florida for nothing. I've been through the struggle. I got friends right there, right over there. We've been through this here. Miss Pickles, don't, please, Miss Pickles. Do what you're supposed to do. He's supposed to get out of there, get him out of there. We don't use those type of words no more. And I'm not coming in violence, I just talk loud. But I'm just letting you know, Miss Pickles, it's your job to make sure that everyone of them on that board know what's going on. Whatever they get paid for. I'm tired of spending my tax money. I'm quite sure they're tired of spending theirs. That's right. We pay y'all. Come on. So get the job done. Get the job done, please. That's all I ask you now. I come now in peace now because I learned to have peace in my heart because the Lord has changed my life. So I'm just asking you, please, get him out of there. Thank you. Madam Chair, Board, again, I'm Dale Landry with the Florida State Conference, NAACP. Last night we had our State Executive Committee meeting, and we were fortunate to have our National Chairman of the Board to be on the call. And we briefed him about Madison. And he gave us some specific instructions. One of them was to come and make it clear to everybody, we are not going to accept that. That's not acceptable.
We're not accepting
and
it.
That individual can serve somewhere else, but we're going to get, he can't be in the classroom. And our students should not have to deal with that. We're waiting until the other shoe drops. Because we're waiting on the outcome reference to, I think her name is Ms. Fletcher. We've heard what's happened here. And as I've sat here tonight, I want to share this with the board. First of all, I want to thank you all, each and every one of you, because there's one thing I know about you. You care about the children. You said it, I feel it, and I know it. You made some comments up here about leadership. I left Panama City in 1973 and got thrust into an environment of leadership. And in there, you become a leader or you get out soon. And I lasted for 21 years in the United States Army. And I know how to lead. And I was a military policeman, and I had patrols out. And I demanded that they treat people by the golden rule. And I told them, what you do to one, I will do to you if the shoe turns. Now I say all of that because I have another thing that I said. Whenever you're out there on my station, you represent me. So your actions are a reflection of me. And if you do something that ain't me, you're gone. What I'm sensing here, everybody without question knows what the man said was wrong and has no business in the classroom. All of y'all have said that. But where I got a problem at is because how did your superintendent put him back in the classroom? Unless it's a reflection of her.
That's right.
I have to make that statement because, see, it goes deeper, Miss Katie, than what you're talking about. Those children went through trauma in their classroom.
Yes.
And then we take the man that brought the trauma out of the classroom. And at that moment, I'm willing to bet those children thought there was hope.
Come on now.
Then you take him to the district, and then you bring him back.
All right, girl.
And put him in with the same children. I want you to really think about what that's like. Because this is what we're subjecting those children to. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do, Madam Superintendent, what the superintendent should do with him. That's on her. However, what I'm going to ask of you is this. I don't know what kind of power you got. I don't know what kind of weight you can bring. But he should not be in that classroom with those same children that he did and traumatized, because think of what you are doing. You're sitting by, would you take someone that's a pedophile that that has expressed certain things and then put him back with children? I'm not saying the man's a pedophile, but I'm just saying racism.
For example, come on.
Racism is just as harmful and traumatic to a child. And everything they've ever been told and what they thought was just and justice, it's been stripped. So I mean, I got to come back and ask y'all. I don't care what they do with him. Get him out of that classroom where those children are at, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. He's going to slip, and somebody's going to be in pain. And they're going to be hurt. And then you're going to have an incident and a problem that can blow up. Do with him as you please. But please, please, get him out of that classroom. And we are coming back. We're waiting on the second part. And then we are going to respond as an NAACP from the state conference in support of the Madison County branch.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight. All in favor?